We're starting this season off with a super special video, a conversation with our parents.
We discuss their upbringing, how their respective cultures and other identities affect the way that they view and manage money, and what they would do if they won the lottery, and the important lessons that every young adult should know when it comes to money. Hey Wealth Builders, I'm Mishak.
And I'm Akiva.
And on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance for young adults just like you and us.
So if you're into that kind of stuff, go on ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. And while you're at it, click the notification bell so you never miss when we post new, valuable videos just like this one.
Now, enjoy this important conversation with our parents.
Welcome, everybody. Great to have you on the channel for the first time.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you.
It's going to be a treat for our viewers to see a little bit more into our family life and things like that. Before we get started, let me just ask you guys to introduce yourselves to the people.
My name is Leanne, and I am Mishak's mom.
Okay, and my name is Avril, and I'm Akiva's mom.
And my name is Keith, and I'm Akiva's dad.
Great. Thank you. So let's get this started with our first question. Can each of you describe what money conversations were like in your household growing up?
We grew up in an era where children were seen, but really necessarily not heard most times. So money was not discussed with us.
And that's the same with me. Growing up, my parents, they did not sit my siblings and me down and give us a lesson on finances. There was no financial literacy 101, okay? And I think my husband will say the same thing. Although I think it's safe to say that that culture was the same throughout our society at that time. I'm not sure what the reason was behind that, but I would guess that either they felt they were not equipped to do so, or they did not see the need to, seeing that they themselves were not given such a lesson by their parents. One thing I would say though is that what we were given lessons in, and which I consider to be very, very important, was morality and respect. And those were lessons which permeated every aspect of our lives, including our finances.
My experience is probably much different. There was no money, so there was nothing to talk about. So I've never even remember hearing a financial discussion between my parents, and much less between parents and children. We grew up in a very poor household. Mm-hmm. So money was a scarcity always. So those discussions were never experienced at all.
And also, I believe also that it was just too much responsibility. Like, those were not things that children needed to know. Children needed to be children. So we were not burdened with finances and how it worked, how it was managed. We were just allowed to be kids as far as they were concerned.
Quick commercial break. We created this new, fun, free quiz for you all to help determine how your finances are doing and give you resources and tools to help you with your financial journey. If you want to take this quiz, the link is down in the description box and pinned in the first comment under this video. Now, back to the conversation. Right, how do you think your upbringing influences the way that you view and manage your money now as an adult?
Well, I mean, growing up, even though my parents didn't talk about money, I definitely knew that they always saved for a rainy day. Mm-hmm. So I think that we grew up with that in mind, that you always had to have something put away for a rainy day so that you didn't necessarily have to burden anybody else with your financial issues, that you were able to tap into that cookie jar or that saving account or the money that was under the mattress. You were able to get that out in case of emergency to get yourself out of financial emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing to see that, you know, Liani and I and your dad, we're from different backgrounds, but we, have almost the same in common. I remember my mom most of the times being able to take care of any additional expense that may have arisen. And, she confided in us, I think it was after my dad passed, that she had an additional savings that my dad didn't even know about. And if that is to ask me that question after this interview, I will be pleading the fifth. But anyway, as we're talking about learning to be independent, since I want to remain independent in my old age, or maybe I should say in my older age, one of my top priorities right now is saving for retirement.
I mean, I come from a background where, as I said, I watched my parents struggle financially because they just did not have the resources. And of course, part of that comes from, of course, my parents never went to high school. They had at best 3rd to 5th grade education. So they worked hard all their lives just to take care of the 7 children. And I couldn't wait until I got old enough to work and to have income on my own. And one of the driving forces behind that was to being the oldest child in the family to help out. And as soon as I left high school, I went to work. For me, it was a blessing that now that I've watched them struggle all my life to raise us, now I can contribute financially to the household. So the lessons I learned about finance weren't really learned until I started to work on my own.
As immigrants, since all 3 of you come from immigrant backgrounds to the U.S., how would you say that experience influenced the way that you, one, learned about how money works in the United States in that context and just your money story in general?
I mean, I came to the United States when I was 10 years old, so I've lived most of my life here. And my mom was here like maybe 7, 8 years before we came up. So when we came up, they were already working, they were doing well financially. We had our own, we lived on our own, all our needs were met. Mm-hmm. And we even got allowance and things like that. But still, they still didn't have money discussions with us. Mm-hmm. Whatever we learned as an adult by trial and error. Mm-hmm. Or most of it was by error that we actually learned, that, this is what needs to be done. But we were always taught to pay bills mm-hmm. and to pay them on time. That was my parents' motto. The rent got paid, food got bought, they tithed, so they paid their tithes. Everything, all our needs were met. If there was extra money, then that was fine. Then maybe you got a little extra something. But we were taught, that you pay all your bills. Mm-hmm. You take care of home, and you take care of the kids. Everyone's needs got met.
Yeah, you mentioned tithe and stuff too. So, being an immigrant also compounded by other aspects of your identity, whether it's growing up in a Christian household or just any other aspects. How did all of that affect things as well?
Well, we learned that you return your tithes first. Mm-hmm. And God is going to bless you and your needs have been met. And honestly, in all my life, we have never gotten kicked out of an apartment because we couldn't pay rent. We've never gone hungry. We always had clothes. We always had winter coats, boots, whatever we needed, our needs were met. I mean, we even got music lessons and other things that, they were able to afford for us to do. We went on vacations, different mm-hmm. things. So as far as I'm concerned, all our needs were met. Their way of doing things, it worked for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not necessarily. I think as adults, we have done things a little bit differently because now that we understand money a little bit better, we try to do better. Like Avril said earlier, now the goal is to save for retirement because retirement is really upon us. We don't have years to retire. Mm-hmm. It's right upon us. It's just trying to make sure that when we retire, mm-hmm. that we don't end up on the streets or in those type of situations because we didn't talk about money early enough so that we could have started that process early enough.
We grew up in a predominantly Christian culture also, where I was taught that all blessings came from God mm-hmm. and including money, mm-hmm. all right? And in turn, we should bless others. Right. So it was common back home to see neighbors sharing what they have with each other. For for example, produce, you know, a neighbor would knock on your door and they would always have something to bring for you. And so I view money as something not only to make my life better or the life of my family better, but also to help someone who is in need.
I saw money as a means to an end and not an end in itself. Because for me, there were some things that were more valuable than money, like family and helping out people, especially if those people were related to you. Those things to me were more valuable than money in itself. So money has never really been an end for me. It's really a means to an end. But I also learned very fast that if you don't have the means, you can't really achieve the ends.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this question is for fun. So if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do with the money?
$1 million, all yours.
That's a question I've thought very long and hard about.
If we won the lottery, which we don't.
Well, definitely I would pay my 10%. And then after I would try to, get myself out of some debt, and then definitely put some towards retirement, because retirement is right behind the door for us.
What would you do with it?
Okay, just like Leanne said, first things first, of course, I would return tithe and offering, but then I don't think I'll be able to tell my pastor where I got that money from, so that we don't play the lottery. But I will definitely be doing that. And I think the second thing I would definitely like to do is pay off all my children's student loans. I would love to do that. And see them, because I know it's hard when you now starting out, in starting out with your career, in the workforce, and all you have to be thinking about is this, this student loans that you have to keep paying back, So that is something I would love to do. I don't know if there would be any left over. But one of my wishes is to really get my dream home, because I didn't really get my quote unquote dream home. So if that's possible, I would do that. And as Leanne said, put some towards retirement.
You need my answer too?
Yes.
My dream was not 1 million, it was 10 million.
Aim large, I love it.
Yes, that's 2 million will go towards the work of the Lord. 1 million each for my 3 daughters. And okay, she's listening. All right. Yes. 3 million goes to retirement. And the other 2 million
for the dream house?
One for Avril as she sees best, and one for me as I see best.
Sounds fair to me.
To help. And that's when I say see best, I mean helping out family and friends who would need the help. So that will be reserved for that.
I thought I was going to get more than the children, but it's all good. It's all good.
No, the 3 million is yours. You included in that.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I didn't get
for our retirement.
It's all good.
It's all good. All right.
Knowing what you know now, what are some money lessons you think are important to young people should know?
Okay, coming to this country, I learned the value of building credit. Yes, that was something that was kind of new to me, And I remember the first time it's been some years now, I think it was a loan I applied for, and they denied me because they said I had no credit history. And I'm like, credit history, what is that, And then I realized that without credit history, if you want to make major purchases, as we learned in Akiva's class, I'm just going to put in a little plug here for you, Akiva. She has a 6-week course. It's now called Money 180, and I would recommend anybody to take that class because it's very informative. You learn a lot, and you're going to have a totally different view when it comes to money. We were taught the importance of building your credit because, credit comes into play in making, your major purchases. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a house. Even to rent an apartment, Okay, they check your credit. All right, so that's one of the main things I would say. Start from young to build your credit. Okay. Just a little advice on credit cards, just make sure that, like we say back home, don't hang your hat where your hand can't reach. That means you don't spend what you don't have. So that when you do that, and when you make your payments on time, you're not going to get into additional debt. All right. So building your credit is one thing.
And that was a culture shock for me financially coming to this country. Back in Trinidad, your credit or credit history was not something that was focused on. You got a loan based on how much income that you can make, your income potential, not on credit or credit history. And so that was a financial culture shock when I got here, how important credit or the credit system is to your financial management.
I mean, the advice that I would give young people would more than likely be to get as much information about money as you can. Like Avril said, yes, work on your credit, but know about money. Know the ins and outs, know the consequences. That's what I would advise them, because a lot of times when you graduate from high school and you go into college, they're there waiting to give you credit cards. You have no job, you're in college, you swipe, and then when you left, you have a big credit, you owe a lot, plus your student loan. So I would say, develop good money habits. If you have $1, learn to put 50 cents down, for a rainy day, whatever you want to call it, get a cookie jar or whatever. I would say, start saving from a very, very young age, as much as you can.
Yeah, I think financial literacy on a whole is something young people need to learn. And learn from very, very early. Lessons I never learned when I was growing up. So I kind of started behind the 8 ball. But for young people, they should be taught financial literacy. In fact, I think that should be a course in school.
Yeah. And another little thing I would say too, also, it's profound, something that Akiba said in the class also. And I would advise young people to make this their motto: spend what is left after saving, and not save what is left after spending. Right? That's very, very important. So I'll say it again. You spend what you have after saving, not save what you have after spending. All right? And then the last thing is, it's never too young to start saving for retirement.
Any last words to share with the people? Any last thoughts?
I said, even though in my personal experience, I never learned money management from early. Nobody ever taught it to me. But it's never too late to start.
Definitely.
It's never too late to start learning some of the financial lessons that would, and this is not just about retirement, but about putting yourself in a position where you can be of help, not only to yourself, but to those who need the help. Because as much as you would want to help, if you just don't have the means to do it, you can't do it. Although money is not an end, but it's an important means to some of the ends and goals that you may have, as noble as they may be.
And also, I would like to also put, don't spend more than what you're earning. If you can help it, do not spend more than what you're earning. If you earn $40,000 and you spend $50,000, you're never gonna get out of that hole.
Yeah.
So you try to spend within your means.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you to Akiba and Mishak for what they have been teaching us. I am learning from them. And so I know that the cycle has been broken, that they would be having these discussions with their children. So I know that our grandchildren will do better. Yes.
That is very, very true. Definitely, thank you, and definitely I would also say keep up what you're doing. It's very important to be well-rounded, and money is a part of that.
Thank you all for being a part of this conversation today. It's been really fun, really enlightening, and I'm sure our audience will get a lot of value from this. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day. We are so grateful to our parents for having this conversation with us as we continue working to change generational money narratives and mindsets and build generational wealth, because you guys know that's what we're all about on this channel.
Now, if you enjoyed this conversation, please comment the word mindset down below and share this video with a friend.
As my mom mentioned, we dive deep into discovering our money mindsets and beliefs and so much more in our program, Money 180. So if you're interested in learning more about that, the link will also be in the description box below.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss when we post new content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.